Now, as you could tell by the title and thumbnail, today we're here for a very special league racing video, and to be fair, it's probably a bit of a giveaway, but still, I had to clickbait it a little bit because it's one of them moments that I really enjoyed, and it's probably my greatest league racing moment of all time, or if not, it's up there, like top 2, top 3. So today we're here for WOR, the World Online Racing League on PC, and for this event I've actually been promoted from Split 2, which is where I usually race on PC, to Top Split, Split 1. There was a couple of vacancies and I was able to get the call up, and we're going to stand in the Ferrari, and surprisingly we're also teaming up with our PSGL teammate Lewis Welch in the Ferrari, so very happy about that. And this weekend we're here at Canada. Now, first of all, if you guys are new to my channel and you enjoy league racing content, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more. I do 2 videos a week, and I also stream all of my races every Wednesday night, every Sunday night on my Twitch, so link down below. But mainly, of course, YouTube, daily content, so hit the red subscribe button, it really helps me out. But this weekend we're here at Canada, and we have a mixed conditions race, and it's going to be a dry qualifying and a wet race. Damn, the rain is not letting off. It's 80% plus the whole way through. It's going to be full wets the entire race. I mean, to be fair, I've not done a lot of practice, so that might be my get out of jail free card. I might be able to fraud my way out of that. So, yeah, I guess, cool. Right, we're going to adjust the wings accordingly. So, we're going to go for this. Now, as you just saw, I wanted to show that clip because it's a very crucial part of this entire race weekend. So I've decided to actually sacrifice a good chunk of my dry setup by going +1 on the front and rear wing to have better performance in the rain on Sunday. So we're going to be super strong for the corners, but quite a bit down on the straights. So this qualifying session, unlike most of my league races right now, where I'm in Split 2 in PSGL and WOR, this is top split, so we're doing a full qualifying Q1, Q2 and Q3 here. So I've already done a bank lap on intermediates. I'm now doing a double lap on medium, so back-to-back laps here to try and see if I can set a good lap. And to be fair, this second lap was really good. I absolutely nailed the final chicane, as you hear me say in the background. And we crossed the line, setting a 1:07.9 on mediums, going P7 at the time. We then get pushed down to 8th place. And we're looking pretty decent. I then went back out at the end of Q1, currently P13, on a set of soft tyres. Now, I made a bit of a mistake, as you saw there, and I had to just roll out the lap because I wasn't happy with it anyways. And around Canada, you can usually get away with 2 laps. So I made that mistake. I thought, okay, I've got time. I'm going to quickly just cool off the tyres, recharge a bit of VRS, and go again. Currently P16 and we're out right now, so we need this lap to get into Q2. Let's see if we can make it happen. Currently we're up by over 3/10. We're looking pretty decent. It hasn't been a spectacular lap, but it's good enough. Heading through the final chicane, just keeping it nice and tidy. DRS open, up to the line. As we cross the finish, it's going to be P12 and we move into Q2. So we get the job done. We played it safe, and also we only used 1 set of soft tyres, so that means we'll get at least 2 runs on fresh softs in Q2. Now, speaking of Q2, this is my first time lap, and this is actually on a used set. It's the tyres that we used before in Q1 to get through, because Canada's a very short track and you usually have a lot of time to get a lot of runs done. So we're going to go for a banker lap on the used tyre, and then we'll go for 2 more laps on fresh tyres. So here's the first lap through the final chicane. I've got to be honest, it was an absolutely average lap, to be honest. And across the line we go, and it's going to be last place for us with 1:08.4, which is nowhere. You know, it really isn't spectacular. But we now move on to my second run, and this one was my first run on the fresh soft tyres, and it was my best lap. So down to turn 1, bring the car to the right, 4th gear, into the first corner. I could have taken a bit more inside curb there through both of those apexes. It wasn't really the best turn 1 and turn 2. Into 3 and 4, down to 5th gear. This was a lot more on the money, brushing the wall there as we get super close, and that was much more on the limit and exactly what you want. Into the start of sector 2, left, right. Very important here to get good traction and clean exit out of there. On the cut and on the back straight now, preparing for the next chicane. Right, left, brake at the shadow. 5th gear, use all the curbs, super aggressive again, using every inch of the track, and this has been a very good second sector to make up for a pretty average first sector, to be honest. Purple in sector 2 right now, and we're currently about 2.5 tenths up right now and on course for a comfortable top 10 with 6 minutes to go. DRS open as we tackle the hairpin, now down towards the final chicane. And this is where we need to commit big time for a big lap time. 5th gear, nose in. I didn't quite get it right. I think I could have attacked the first apex a bit more, and I went in a bit too tight and shallow into the second one. But we set a 1 minute 7.485, and that's a very good lap to set us up for the final run. The issue is the final run wasn't good. I had a very scruffy lap. We hit the wall at the final chicane, and it's going to be a non-improvement. So P11 for us in qualifying and game over. And to be fair, I'm not too upset because, as I mentioned, we've adjusted our setup for the rain. So P11, not too shabby. I missed out on Q3 by 0.02. Really close. We just missed out to Jake Benham in P10. And I think when you see that gap and you see 0.02, you always feel like that lap time was there. And I did mention before, the final chicane wasn't quite on the money, and I missed the apex at turn 1 and turn 2. I didn't really attack those corners enough, so there's definitely more time in it. My personal best was a 1.7.3 with a fully dry setup, a low 3 at that. So there was more pace, but you know what? I'll take it. It's not too bad, but we just missed out on Q3. We out qualify Luke Smith, who is my F2 teammate, who's also been promoted to this race, and he's in P12, and also Lewis Welch, who is my PSGL teammate. So from that front, I'm quite happy, but nonetheless, let's move into the race. Now, for the race, I've been joined by Philip Prajnader, F1 Esports driver for Alfa Romeo Racing, and of course, he was my teammate in PSGL on F1 2020, and you know, he's really helpful. He gives a lot of valuable insight from a driver's perspective, so he's going to be a massive help for us this race, and I'll let you hear some comms. But the 5 lights are coming on here at Canada, P11 on the grid, and away we go. It's a good start, very clean traction, using the improved wings as we race down to turn 1. We managed to get Pedreño and up the inside of Brufair. Everyone runs wide at turn 1 as there is a massive lack of grip right now. We're currently side by side here with Chana Kinchi, so we've gained 2 places, about to be 3 as we go around the outside of the Alpine into the chicane and get the job done. It's a lovely move.
Yep. But that's a really nice start you got there.
Yep.
Very good.
I think I found the sweet spot with the starts, but I think I can still improve them a bit. Oh wait, John's pulled off.
He's trying to cause another safety car.
Now, as you can see, HX4K, John, goes off the track. I believe he had contact and got a penalty, so he decided to leave the session. So we've gained another place for free, and we're now P7, so a great start for us on this opening lap of the race. I like how everyone had no grip into turn 1. Everyone just went super wide.
Yeah. But that's nice start though.
Yeah.
4 places up.
Didn't use any ERS at all.
Very nice. There are already quite a bit of penalties actually, but I think that's just for contacts. Valentin, Ruben, Jari and Mattis all have penalties.
Okay, copy that.
Jari and Mattis are P2 and P3.
Oh, nice one. Okay.
And I think these penalties will have to be served in the pit, so they won't get removed, I think, post-race.
Yeah. Oh, unlucky for them, but maybe I can get a bit of luck for once. It's just been so unlucky so far this game. I can't get a clean weekend.
Yeah. Especially that downward, like I've seen that race. That was just pain.
So yeah, there's the update. A few penalties already. So Jari Fitz and Matthias Van Erven up in P2 and P3 have penalties. So does Valentin Brufair behind. And we're on the restart now, and you can see through here we have a bit of contact with Oscar Marino, but look at the grip we have. This is why we've made the gamble on the setup, as we just fly around the outside of the Williams, who seems to have no grip. Dare I say his tyres are a bit cold as well because he's going extra slow. But we move up to the top 6, and we've gained 5 places already in the first 2 laps of this race. So a really strong start. I made sure my tyres were nice and hot for the race start and for the VSE restart, and we're just flying basically. The car is working well already, and I'm able to just attack from the get-go and set the pace. Now, on to lap 3, start at lap 4. People are starting to set their PBs. We actually on the pace quite nicely right now, and just chilling in P6. You can see Pedreño also has a 5-second time penalty in P8 as well. Didn't get any at Zandvoort. Didn't get any last weekend in WR either.
Yeah. I think especially here will be crucial to stay away from the track limits.
Now, as you can hear me say, talking to Philip, you know, I've had a pretty good run lately. You know, I've been pretty clean, just in general, in this year's game with track limits besides Belgium. And, you know, me and Philip were talking about it, just saying it's going to be super, super important to keep it clean this race. As we say that though, lap 6, I get my first warning. Bit of a stupid one through the final chicane. I could have definitely avoided that. As Jake Benham sets a personal best at 1 minute 18.2, which is a lot faster as he starts to pull the pin. But we get a safety car, and this is the first crucial part of the race here today. The box.
Yeah, I think he's out at the end of sector 1. Probably just lost it on power.
I think pit window is just too
so yeah, Louis, Thomas Harvey, Samuel Bean, Luke Smith, Alessio Di Capua and Kanakinchi from P11 to P16 have come in.
far. Okay, copy.
I would say just copy what the guys ahead will do.
Yeah.
At the moment it's kinda, I don't think the Inters will make it to the end if you pit now.
So there's some information. P11 to P16 were the ones to pit under that safety car, and it's worth noting, right now we are net P4 with Matthias van Erven and Jari Fitz having to serve 5-second penalties in the pit box, and we've also got cover behind with Brufair and Pedreño having the same problem. So right now we are looking very good in this race. We've done the hard bit, which is getting the good start and making up the positions, and now we've got to try and keep pace and go long.
Jake's 0.73 extra for the fuel.
Now you can just hear me there getting an update on Jake Benham's fuel, because he's the race leader right now, and I realised I probably went a bit too heavy on fuel at the start of the race. We should have gone a bit lighter, because you tend to save a lot of fuel in the rain and also in traffic. But currently behind two F1 Esports drivers, Shanaka Clay for Aston Martin and Timon Shooter for Alfa Romeo. So we're going to see if we can try and keep pace. That's the plan here, to see if we can mix it up with these guys. Lap 12 we have dropped off a little bit from Shanaka, as we are on currently for a personal best lap. Keep me posted on the ERS levels of the leaders.
Yep. Jake basically the same as you, 2%.
Now there's a little update on the ERS situation, so I know what we're looking at, because I don't want to start draining too heavily. We do set a personal best on that lap, and we're on for another personal best now on lap 16, as we do a good job of just keeping the cars ahead in our sights. I was trying to get within that 1 second window. I just wasn't quite fully able to do it. I was very slow on the straights. You can see here on the delta I'm losing a lot of time, and that's kind of where you can see the setup difference and how aggressive I've gone with the wings. But Shanaka pits along with Timon Shooter, and they're both in, so we're going to gain a handful of places as we move up to P4, and Jari Fitz and Matthias van Erven still yet to pit. So once those two pit, we should be P2 behind Jake Benham, who's just starting to open a bit of a gap out in the race lead right now. So lap 17, let's see what happens here this lap. Pit this lap, keep Brufair behind. Or to be fair, actually I can afford to go long. He won't undercut me because of the penalty. I've got a bit of a gap here. Just go long. And you can hear me say we're going to try and go long because we've got a gap with the penalties, and that's crucial for us. I'm going to focus, see if I can go to lap 19.
Okay, perfect. Alright, yeah, reason. I'll check if the penalty is getting served. And yes, it is. So Mattis will have to serve it as well.
So there's confirmation. Jari Fitz pits, Matthias van Erven stays out. But everyone that's got penalties is having to serve them. Matthias now up to 8 seconds, as he's got another 3 seconds for track limits. And right now we're P3, but Valentin Brufair putting some big pressure on here, or Vasta Racer of course, as he's known in the community. And I'm making a few mistakes here. I'm just not quite driving finely enough, and I'm making a few errors. And you can see here, I'm a little bit out of shape, and Brufair is on our gearbox, so we could be in trouble here. I have to use ERS to try and stay ahead. Big moment though, another safety car, and this is where the race got really hot.
Andres Lantin also. Is that a safety car?
Okay, copy that.
Nice, go in, box. This is looking really good. So if Mattis...
Do I need to respect the delta?
I think so, yes. I'll check for Jake's stream. He's currently...
safe.
Yeah, I'll check on Jake's stream, just in case. Yeah, but box. If Yeah, Jake has been respecting the delta, so...
I think it's right at the end, but I don't think it's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Jake got held a little bit. I'm going to get held, I think, badly.
Right. Let's see if Mattis has to serve the penalty. Oh, did you get released?
I
No.
got Mattis, he's
Nice,
serving the penalty.
very
So I'm
nice,
behind Jake
nice,
right
nice.
now.
Yeah, so we're not P2. Alessia's 30-second time penalty.
See these tires through to the end now.
Actually, no, not net P4. Yeah, it's gonna be close.
P2.
Nice, very nice.
And look at that, what incredible timing. We didn't get held in the pits. I absolutely sent it on the pit exit and we managed to go around the outside of Time and Shooter and get net P2 in this race. That fuel's saving like crazy.
I'll check. Jake is on 0.9, I think. He seems to be saving less fuel than you, for whatever reason. Probably the fuel burning he's doing.
Mate, he's fuel burning all the time. Now you can hear in the background the car's revving, everyone's trying to fuel burn, and just keep that load down because of course there's a lot of extra weight, and I really wish I'd gone a lot larger on fuel at this stage, but it doesn't matter. You know, we've got track position now. This point of the race is all about survival. We've got P2, we've got to try and stay here. So who's behind Van Erven?
Dario, P6, then Samuel Bean, and Yari. He's on P8.
And
Yari has
the penalty situation with Dario and Samuel Beanias.
When the field accelerates,
Dario doesn't have
remember,
penalty,
there is no overtaking
but he's on
until the
4
green
lap
flag.
old tires now.
Safety car
Darwin
in
is on
this
3
lap.
lap old, Shanika is on 3 lap old. And Samuel has no penalties, and then Yari and Thomas P8, P9 have penalties. And then Alessio and Andres P11, P13, all on 3 seconds.
Okay, copy that. It's time for the restart, and again the plan is simple. We've got a lot of cars on penalties behind and they're going to start to stack up. Right now we've got 1 warning for track limits, which is very good, as Jake Benham pulls the pin, and we're going to see if we can try and survive. I'm expecting Jake to drive away, and we're going to just try and hold on to P2 and keep Thomas Shooter and Shanaka Clay behind us for the rest of the race. There's going to be no more pit stops. We're going straight to the end, so green flag back on the way, and the restart is in full effect. We've got Van Erven on 3 seconds, and I believe we've got a couple others as well with penalties behind. So focus now for the rest of the race when something happens. Yep, full focus now until the end of the race. We're just going to give it everything and see how we go, and fingers crossed it goes well. So the restart so far has been pretty decent. We've actually got slightly closer to Jake than what Timon is to us, and I quickly started to realise we had pace, but I wasn't too convinced. I was starting to think maybe Jake is just, you know, maybe his time's a bit cold, he wasn't fully up to temperature, or maybe he, you know, is off the pace a little bit on the restart, or maybe he's wanting to save ERS behind me and then just try and pass me at the end. As Shanaka Clay gets a 3-second time penalty, so that's a big moment in this race. But through the hairpin, you can see here, I just get such good traction, and suddenly we are in the driver's seat for a move.
Try and push Jake a little, if you can get past him.
And you can hear there 30% to try and push me a little bit, so we're going to put some pressure on here. You can see on the straight I'm struggling to get really close, as even in the slipstream we're a bit down. But look at this now, the final chicane, we absolutely hook it up, and we are right on the gearbox of Jake Benham as we make the way down towards turn 1. We're going to pull to the inside on the Mercedes driver, down the inside here, using plenty of curb, leaving loads of room on the inside, racing room, and it's going to be a similar move to the one back on lap 2 as we go around the outside and get the traction and make the move and get into the race lead here at Canada as we get a second warning for track limits at the same time.
Let's go. That's how we do it.
I wonder if he's let me past. And you can hear me say there, I'm still not convinced. I am wondering if Jake just wants to chill. It's pretty much a 3-way fight between myself, Jake, and Time and Shooter, because everyone behind has penalties at this stage in the race. So things are opening up now here today.
No, I don't think he'll let you by.
I just got to be careful now with penalties.
Yeah, I don't think he'll let you by. He seems to be... Jake got warning. He seems to be struggling.
So as you can hear, Jake gets a warning himself. We are now on 2 warnings, so we've got to be very careful for the remaining 13 laps of this race, and that's not going to be easy.
I'm trying to check. Jake may have some underbody damage, but I'm not sure.
Would make sense.
Seems like it.
Didn't know we had some damage on.
I'm just guessing, but it looks like it from the way he's driving.
Now you can hear Philip there speculating, and myself as well. We're trying to think why Jake isn't as fast as the first stint. The gap is now 8 to 9 tenths, and I'm pushing him. I'm giving it everything I've got to try and stretch the pack a little bit, but at the same time, leaving a bit in reserve, which is important. 15% lower than me, you said, yeah?
Yeah, 15 to 20%.
And you can hear that Jake has about 15% less ERS, so he is pushing, he's using energy to keep up. I'm not going all out because I've got 2 warnings and I have to be careful to not get that third one. So right now I'm driving at about 90 to 95% on the pace right now, trying to be very safe with track limits. I think I'm quite slow on the straight compared to everyone else. I'm running quite high wings.
Yeah, Jake used quite a bit of ERS that straight. You are now like 15% more again.
You can hear still 15% more ERS as we're just controlling the race right now, as Time and Shooter gets a 3-second time penalty. Another big moment, and that means the race win now is between myself and Jake here today. Simon Shooter penalty.
Yeah, but he's very low on ERS, so it's between you and Jake.
And there we go, another update. So Time and Shooter very low on ERS as well, and even lower than me and Jake. So right now, with 6 laps to go, we're in the driver's seat, and at this point I started to believe we could do it. I knew I was slow on the straight, but my exits were great, my cornering was spot on, and I was keeping it very smooth and consistent, and no errors.
Jake 20% less ERS.
And you can hear there, Jake 20% less ERS now, and it's important to try and keep that advantage, because in the final couple of laps I want to try and pull away and open up a gap and really stretch the pack out. So far so good. He's trying into the final chicane, I can tell. He sets himself up before the hairpin, uses a lot of energy to close up into the hairpin.
Yeah, wait. On the exit, he's still on the ERS. He's now below 40%.
And there you go. That's a big moment because we've got plenty of charge here right now in this race. I'm trying to save for the last 2 laps so I can just give it everything. And you can hear me there. As I just mentioned a moment ago, we're trying to save for the last couple of laps. Yeah, that's what we want. Around lap 33, 34, we're going to start to pull the pin. I'm trying to hold back as much as I can without, giving myself in and making myself vulnerable to an overtake attempt.
Jake is now below 20% on start finish.
And that's a big moment. That's when I knew it was time to maybe start pushing, because we've got over 40% more ERS than Jake Benham, which is massive at this stage.
You have over more than 40% more ERS than Jake.
I'm going to try to go. And you can hear me say there, this is it. I'm going to try to go and start to push and open things up a little bit, because I'm feeling confident I can go faster than this, but like I said, the 2 warnings are just keeping me on the edge a little bit, and I don't want to make a mistake now at this stage of the race. Everyone behind has penalties. We set a personal best on lap 34 as I start to really turn the wick up a little bit, and we head on to the last lap of the race. And we're going to stay on board here for the final lap, because you're going to see me just pretty much drain the rest of my battery. I did a good chunk of it on the last lap, and we're going to finish it off this one. But you can see the delta now, 1 second. As we end sector 1, I was starting to really pull away, and at this point I was actually getting a bit more relaxed because I knew I had it in the bag. I knew Jake had 5% ERS or 10% ERS, literally nothing, and even though he's super fast on the straight and I'm really slow, my cornering was on point, my traction, my braking, everything was working out. And at this point I was so thankful for the setup change I made, and just going +1 on the front and rear wing made such a difference to the car performance in the wet. And what an incredible achievement. I really, can't believe it. But here we go, through the hairpin, after 35 laps, 2 safety cars, from P11 to P1 here at Canada. We had to work for it, we had to fight for it. We didn't just get lucky with the safety car. We had to go from P11 to P6 on track, and then, P6 to P2 with the safety car. So we did get some luck, but we had to, put ourselves in that position. And here we go. Yes!
And that's it, mate. P1.
Come on! Yes!
Awesome job. Awesome drive. I'm not even joking, but
finally.
Wow. Wow, that actually has to be one of the best drives I've seen in league racing. I'm not even kidding. Especially with a grid like this. Awesome job, mate.
Finally. God.
That is deserved. That is very deserved.
Finally. Yes! Fuck, that feels good. Jesus Christ.
That's an amazing drive, mate.
Thank you, man. You really massively helped me out of the race. And there we go. Confirmation of the race win. My eyes are not deceiving me. Your eyes are not deceiving you. We finish P1 in the Canadian Grand Prix here in top split in WOR, a race in which I was stepping up as a kind of reserve / filling in for an empty space. what a performance. The car was fantastic, and I want to give a massive shout out to Philip Presnader for spotting me, being my race engineer. The information he gave me throughout the entire race was so important. You know, penalties, ERS levels, fuel levels, who was pitting, who wasn't pitting. It made a massive difference for me, and it just made me feel a lot more relaxed and knowing what I was doing. Also, you know, just a big shout out to the guys that watch on stream as well in chat. I really appreciate it, and everyone that, you know, gifted subs on Twitch as well. I really appreciate that. And yeah, a historical moment, and I still can't believe it's, you know, it's happened. It hasn't sunk in yet, and I think with time I'll appreciate it more. But you know, I want to give a shout out as well to the commentators. I've watched it back, and I think I've put a clip in here anyways, so you guys can watch it, but I really appreciate it. It's a moment that I'll never forget. And you know, wins don't come too often for me because I race at a relatively high level and I don't have endless time to practice, so it's quite hard for me to be a top driver. So for me to win this race was really awesome, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, look at that. P1 ahead of Jake Benham, F1 Esports development driver for Veloce Esports, of course. Time Shooter, Shanaka Clay, F1 Esports drivers for Alpha and Aston Martin. And then Samuel Bean as well, who's a top split driver in any league race you see across the board. And all the other names that come with it. I mean, it's absolutely insane. What a race, and no penalty. We kept it clean those final 13-14 laps on 2 warnings. We didn't get the final one, and I've had a pretty good run. I should have had this win 3 days ago or 4 days ago at Zandvoort in PSG. I'll leave that video linked in the top right. I got robbed. I played a beautiful strategy in the race, and I should have had the win that day, and this for me is positive karma. So yeah, really happy. If you guys enjoyed that race, then smash the like button, and hopefully a lot of you guys have watched the content and have watched up until this point. If you watch my team, then you give league racing a bit more of a shot, because it's a great community and the league racing side of things is so much more fun and entertaining. So I really enjoy it. Subscribe for more 2 league racing videos a week, guys, if you're new to the channel. And as always, a big shout out to the channel members for supporting the content. Finally, check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.